So the way we cracked this business problem was we drove traffic beginning with a real-time banner campaign. Oral-B globally is marketed under the banner of a revolution, with a hand holding a toothbrush. And the advice to the client was, you can, especially in our channel, you can't claim there's a revolution without substantiating it. And that was the real difficulty. So the only way we could reconcile this sense of revolution was to pull in live data feeds from sales. So these real-time banners, and you could pan across Europe within that. These are just 3 grabs. You could see in real time sales occurring across Europe as soon as they hit the Amazon database, with limited endorsements and reviews. So it was a real-time revolution expressed through banners. But the real win here was that was with the partnership with Boots, who are a chemist in the UK. We deconstructed the site I showed you earlier, and much like we have concessions in department stores, built the concession in Boots. We were fishing essentially where the fish are, where people are predisposed to making purchases. Furnished it with rich content, real testimonials. She doesn't look very happy there, but she is happy about the product. And we skinned it to Boots look and feel, and plumbed in the same endorsements we saw in the banner ad. This was revolutionary for the client. The quotes were, created fantastic breakthrough and was a real step change for the brand in the UK. And the business literally doubled overnight. These are the client's words. The head of Procter & Gamble in the UK presented this at an industry conference in London a few months ago. And she said that this campaign has influenced Procter & Gamble's thinking now in the UK, and this model will be rolled out across other businesses. Now, as a creative, the real thrill I got was that this case study was presented before Isaiah and the Old Spice campaign, so it's no surprise he doesn't look very happy there. Your brand touchpoint is your brand, because your brand is also everyone's. I recommend that you guys read Alan Mitchell. He's a very progressive thinker, and this is one line that stood out from him, from his writing. Brands are negotiated, not declared.
One of Shell's chief scientists. We would like to invite you to take part in a live webcast which will look at the drive towards more sustainable transport and mobility.
As intellectual property is only a marginal number of percentages,
there's a lot of talk about ROI over the last 2 days, but doing the rounds is another interpretation of the acronym, which is return on ignorance, which is something that resonates with me. Number 4, integration, not replication. Don't use digital as a broadcast channel. Here's an example, which is a couple of years old, but for me, it's one of my favourite. Received a brief from Land Rover, who sponsor English rugby, and those were the assets that we were given, and it happens to a lot of us in agencies. Here's the asset, replicate it, deliver it online. And it's very clever, quite charming, because it shows some rugby players holding training pads in the shape of one of Land Rover's iconic vehicles. If we'd run this, I'm sure it would have delivered the job reasonably effectively, but Land Rover are a lower tier sponsor, not one of the big players of the rugby team. So we felt that wouldn't deliver the cut-through and wouldn't deliver the right level of impact. So we created something else. Anyone who's of a slightly squeamish disposition, just brace yourself. If we can play this video, please. It was, I apologise. It's based on the insight that rugby players hate footballers and vice versa. So quite a deep-seated insight that we brought to life and dramatised through that campaign. We seeded it through bloggers, and it had incredible reach. It touched over 1 million, we had over 1 million tracked views. But then it found itself through PR, through its own PR, in other media. The BBC is paid for by the license fee payer, by us, by the UK population. So it doesn't carry advertising, and yet that was played in full on a football show with ex-international footballers discussing it. So if we'd, and this is a dramatisation of the headline, integration, not replication, if we'd merely taken that press and outdoor ad and replicated it online, I wouldn't be standing here presenting this now. Interestingly, 150 leads were generated from that campaign. Number 3, don't separate real and virtual worlds. We live in both, so operate in both. What I mean by that is, so frequently we create a bunch of assets, a bunch of creative materials, and just distribute them through multiple channels. We're finding a lot of success in leveraging different media channels successively and constructively. So can you create a message, start a conversation in one area, which in turn sparks a reaction elsewhere? This is my favorite example. We received a brief to create awareness for this new Nissan vehicle, the Duke. The problem with Nissan in the UK is, well, I say problem, they're the leading Asian car manufacturer in the UK. A lot of their historical success is built upon the Nissan Micra, a small urban car which is preferred by an older generation. So Nissan needs to make itself appealing to a younger demographic. And this is one of the products that they feel they can achieve it through. So the brief, quite an enlightened brief, specifically said start a conversation with a young urban male audience and try and create as an objective a positive view of Nissan as a brand. We conducted research. We looked at a number of passion points that were scoring highly. Sport, no surprise, featured highly. Comedy featured highly, and we explored that. But the most frightening one that outstripped the other areas was music. And I say frightening because obviously it's a crowded marketplace. But we also realized that our audience is quite competitive. They're quite successful at work, and they like to emulate that success in their leisure time, in the evenings as well. So based on that insight, we essentially invited the UK to create their own music in collaboration, and I'm really showing my age now, with the electro-pop duo LaRue. This was, I don't know how clearly you can see it, this was the interface that invited the public to take part. And we published it on a number of platforms. I don't know whether we can get a camera on this here. So intentionally, we made the barrier to entry slightly high, but it was a calculated and informed gamble because we thought we would get a better quality of lead. So we built a music-making tool. LaRue supplied the bass tracks, and it's a very simple tool. I need to get my mic close to it. Can you see it there? Can you hear that? So it's a really addictive music-making tool. It allows you to create your own track, the number of different music stems behind each vehicle here. And then at the click of a button, I can record it, and you record your track in 30 seconds.